They aren't going to college because they don't want to, and they're allowed to not want to. Girls are pushed to be academically great, while boys are pushed to be subpar academically as long as they can play a sport to gain a scholarship to get to college. And then for those that don't fall into the category of exceptional athlete, they fall into the cracks because they are allowed to be subpar and average. There is no push for them to be exceptional. There's no push for them to go to college or go do trades. They're allowed to drop out of school. They're allowed to stop going. They're allowed to come to school, act a fool, suffer the consequences, and then still not pass. They're allowed to do that.
If you hear any noise in the background, it's my washing machine. Sorry. I'm now hearing a lot of talk about black boys or black young men, I guess you call them, aren't being pushed to go to college because we're not good readers and because we're allowed to be subpar. And I don't know who's pushing this stuff. It's the videos tend to be black women saying it, but I'm starting to get to the point where I don't think it's black women just organically saying this. It's either black women, some homosexual black women, or some ugly black women who have some sort of vendetta against black males, or somebody white is funding this. Because every other goddamn week, it's some new gender divide between black people. Whereas a black man is saying something about black women, or black women is saying something about black men. It's like, dude, this is a more serious problem. So I'm getting annoyed seeing this message, but I wanted to address the actual message about black males not finishing college. I'm a black male. I went to college and I didn't finish. I was an exceptional reader as a kid. That was probably the thing I excelled at the most. I started reading when I was very little, thanks to my parents. I loved reading. I was very good at reading, and that's all my teachers congratulated me on, or talked to my parents about. Well, your son is doing bad here, but he's such a great reader. So I was a great reader. I went to college and I didn't finish. And I wanted to address why. The reason why black men tend to not finish college is because we can't afford to. We can't afford to finish college. Most of us, we're not given any real direction. So you go to high school, and you're in high school, and after you get out of high school, you're supposed to go into college and get your degree. But what do you get your degree in? What are you good at? What path should you follow? What career should you fall into? What suits you? Unfortunately, within our community, and I'm not trying to push the gender divide, but now I'm just saying something because this is what needs to be said. In our community, a lot of the homes, unfortunately, are run by single mothers, and that's not saying single mothers are bad, but I want to put the point out there that stop putting this sort of this idea out in the universe that black males, or that males in general, are inferior to females just because we have penises. A lot of these males are raised in single mother homes, and the single mother homes and the two parent homes, even if it's a two parent home, the black males, we're not given any real direction. We're told to love Jesus, or love God, or Allah, or whoever, whatever religion is in the home. We're taught to follow that and to be good to that if a religion is in the home. And if outside of that, we're told, well, you can go be a lawyer or a doctor. Or, especially my generation, it was lawyer, doctor, or I don't remember anything else. I don't. I always wanted to be a veterinarian when I was a kid, and I was going to go to college for that. That's only because I liked animals as a kid. I didn't know of any other course that I should go down, and nobody presented one to me. And that's one of the main reasons. One of the main reasons is when you get into college and you're taking these courses, well, as men, we need a path. We need a lane carved out for us so that we know what to follow. We need a path to follow on. We need to know what the end goal is, and we need to know what outcome we're looking for. And if you go into college and you don't have a specific career in mind, well, you're going to be kind of aimless. And that's going to lead into the other reason why we drop out of college is when you're aimless, Well, you're wasting time because guess what? I'm a man. I have a penis. And I want to have sex with women that have vaginas. And the women that have vaginas, the women don't, they need me to have money. I got to have money in order to engage these women. The most important thing to us men is women. That's why we do all of the things that we do. We want women. And when you're young and your hormones are raging and you want women, and women are making it clear that, look, I'm not interested in no long term, you working towards a career. I need somebody that has something now. Even the girls that are interested in or are understanding, and they do understand that you're on a path to a career, so you don't have a lot of money. Even them, well, you still got to have money to take them out because they're not going to pay. You got to have a car to take them places. Most of the times, especially if you have respectable parents, you got to have a place to take the girl to. You're not going to bring her back home to do your deeds. If you're a decent enough man and the girl you're with is decent enough, you're not going to be taking her to a motel, which means you're going to need an apartment. You're going to need a place to live. So you need a car. You need to pay for insurance for the car, gas for the car. You're paying a car payment. You got to pay rent. You got utility bills because you need a place to bring the girl. You also have to plan and pay for the dates and stuff that you go on. You have to have decent enough clothes because you can't just keep wearing your crappy clothes that you would wear if there weren't any girls around, because the girl's not going to want you to be kind of decent looking. We need money. And when you're going to college, it's hard to make enough money whilst going to school full time. I went to school full time and I worked full time. And it was doable, but I didn't bring in enough money to even afford from the full time job that I was able to get whilst working full time while going to school full time. It was hard enough getting a damn vehicle. I didn't have my own place to live. I didn't buy no clothes. Only outward expense that I had was a vehicle, and that was a lot. That paying that and helping pay rent in my family's home. So after a while, after a few years, and me not really know, it was a combination of things, but one of the main things, that reason I dropped out, was I need to get a real job. I need money. I gotta pay for stuff. I'm like just floundering here. I don't know where I'm going. I'm just going to these stupid classes. Some of the classes are nice. I'm learning some stuff in some of the other ones, but a lot of them are these stupid electives that I just gotta take because they tell me to take them, and I'm like spending money on books. No, I don't want to do this no more. I need to get a job. Women, y'all don't have to worry about that. First of all, school is kind of geared and engineered for women. That structure of just sitting down for several hours out of the day, listening to people talk and talking back to them, taking notes and memorizing notes, that's more of a feminine thing. Us men, we like working with our hands. We like to be active. We have testosterone flowing through our veins, especially when we're young in our late teens and early 20s. We want to be out being active. That urge to be active in a normal society, in a normal functioning society, would be directed towards physical labor, which would also be which you would use to build things like neighborhoods and economies, businesses, and you'd also get money in return. So instead of sitting in a classroom with this buzz in you, because you don't want to just be sitting there, you would be out in the field or in somewhere working physically, burning off that energy while also gaining an income, building your own home from scratch, maybe, tilling your own land, doing something physical, working on your own vehicles. So school's not engineered for us. It's engineered for you women, because that's what you women like to do. Women are okay with sitting down and talking amongst themselves. Women will sit and talk for hours, and that's fine. That's why women tend to be the teachers, because that's what women like to do. So school is engineered for you guys. So for y'all, this is not only a normal setting, but in the real world, most of you don't need money. Your parents tend to help you. You tend to live with your parents, or if you have your own place, you could work a part-time job. Even if you're working a full-time job, you don't have to pay 100% of your bills. You don't have to pay all of your rent, all of your utilities. You don't have to have a vehicle if you don't want, and if you do, you don't have to pay 100% of your car payment or all of your car insurance. Sometimes your parents will pay for that and help you with it if they're not paying for all of it. If not, then you tend to have a boyfriend who is there helping you with it or paying all of it. We don't have the same luxuries as you guys. We can't just sit in a room all day and learn. We have to be active, number one, and number two, we have to provide and get access to funds. And you don't get access to funds just sitting in a classroom. You don't get that. The way our society is set up, you have to have money to get the main thing that any living, breathing male of any species wants, which is access to females. We're not bad for wanting access to females. We're males, and we want access to females. And in our society, you only get access to females if you have some money under your belt. And I don't mean rich, but I mean enough money to support yourself and to also help support her and to provide little things that she's going to want and need, like a vehicle to get around. I don't mean a vehicle for her, but your own vehicle so you can drive yourselves around, money to pay for dates, buying her gifts, money to spend on a place where you live so that she can come back to your place and you guys can spend time together. As men, we don't have the same freedoms and luxuries that women have. I'm not saying that women have life is super easy for them. I'm not saying that. I'm talking about in this instance, the freedoms that you have make it easier for you all to sit in college for 4 to 8 years and do what you're going to do. Men can do it, but we got to have help. And a lot of males don't have help, especially in the black community. Poorer white males, they tend to not have help. They got to be in factories somewhere or in a fucking car repair shop repairing a vehicle, or in some sort of blue collar job when they're young because they got to make money because they don't have money flowing in. Richer males, yeah, they have access to certain things. Their parents are paying for certain things. You probably live on campus and your parents are paying for it. They pay for your food. They probably give you a credit card. They help pay for your car. I remember when I was in high school, I went to high school and I'm not going to give all that information away, but when I was in high school, most of the males that had most of the kids that had cars, and I went to a black and white high school, it was mostly black and white kids. It was not any other races other than blacks and whites. Most of the students that had cars were the white kids. The white kids' parents bought them cars, and those kids used those cars and took them on to college. Some of them had to help pay the payment or pay the payment themselves, but most of them didn't have to worry about that. Their parents either bought it outright, it was a used car that they just bought and gave to them, and the kids' insurance is under the parents' insurance, or the parents is covering the insurance, or the parents paying the car payments and the insurance. They don't have to worry about that. Their parents help them pay to roommate in houses with other white kids, or they have their own place, or they have a section of a big house that their parents live in that they're off to themselves. Richer kids have certain freedoms, again, that poorer ones don't, and black males tend to, more of us, especially in the past, it's changing a little bit now, but especially in the past, more of us, we came from poor to working class to middle class families. We came from those types of families, and those families didn't have money to just give to you. You got to go out and do it yourself. And as a male, I can't do both myself. After a while, it becomes either very difficult, or for some, impossible or undoable. And I was one of those people. It was undoable. It was undoable for me to get from my home all the way out to my college, which was by car 40 minutes to an hour away, get from there back to my job, which was 40 to an hour away from that school, and then back home in a 12-hour time span throughout the day. It was becoming impossible. After a while, I said, look, this is becoming too difficult. I got to drop out. I got to get a job. I didn't drop out and go and sell drugs or just relax in my family's house. I got a full-time job, and I worked and I made money and I took care of myself. I paid my portion of the bills, my utilities, I paid for my car insurance, my car payment, I paid for my own stuff. But it became doable once I dropped out. Now, to circle back around to my first point, maybe if I had a path to follow and I knew, okay, in 4 years I'm going to get to this point, and from this point I'll go to this company or these companies and apply and get a job. If I had a roadmap, it would have made it a lot easier. I would have been able to grin and bear it. I would have said I'll grin and bear it because I know what's going to happen. I know where I'm going, and I know what's going to happen at the end. But most of us, we go to school, we don't really fully know what we want to do when we get into school. I went into school, again, I grew up. I said I wanted to be a veterinarian because I liked animals as a child. Once I got older, I realized I don't want to do that. I don't know nothing. I don't want to have any involvement in medicine. I decided to become a systems analyst, working on computers. The school that I went to didn't have a lot of computer programs, so I felt like I was wasting my time. I decided then I wanted to switch over to film. They didn't have any film programs either, and the schools that offered film were like $30,000 a semester or a year or something like that, some crazy number that I would never be able to afford. And so I'm just floundering, like, well, hell, what do I do now? What direction do I go in? And I was kind of lost. Some kids, when they grow up, they know what path they want to take, but most kids, their parents tell them, their family shows them. They watch their kid and they see, oh, this is what you're good at, this is what you like, this is what you're leaning towards. Hey, why don't you get a career in this? You can go to either one of these schools, and they'll help you with the career. They'll help you get to the place where you need to be in this career. You only need to do it for 2, 3, 4, 6, 8 years, whatever. They lay it out. After this, look, you can go and get the job at this company, or this company. And you should be going to either of these companies and looking at their application process while you're in school. And the kid knows a process, a roadmap to where they're going to go. Most of us black males, we don't come from homes where that was provided. We come from go to church, go to your religious organization and learn about God and Jesus, and go to college. Okay, what do I do when I go to college? Get a degree. Okay. Then we go there and we're hit with the reality of, oh damn, what degree do I get? What exactly do I want? What's gonna make money for me? I have no clue. I'm lost, but now I'm already in it. And life is hitting me. What do I do now? Most of us say, you know what? I have to provide. Some guys impregnate a girl and they wind up having kids. I gotta make money. I need money now. I need money now. So I gotta drop out and make money. We're not dropping out of school and playing CeeLo in an alley somewhere with other black males. No, we drop out to work. We drop out to get jobs. We drop out to do what most men have to do and what most men excel at, which is working. It's not our fault that the society has switched and removed all of the labor jobs that are needed to grow a civilization, that they've removed it and outsourced it to other poorer people in other countries. That's not something that most of us can control. The society has switched it to take the types of jobs that men excel at, and they've removed those or done away with them. And the only jobs available are jobs that women tend to excel at, which is sitting at a desk all day, not burning any energy, just doing what you got to do. And women excel at that because women don't have testosterone flowing through their veins, which makes them want to get up and move and be active and be physical. It's a lot to explain. But the main thing is, most of us black men are dropping out of college, not because we can't read and are illiterate fools, not because society treats us nicely while hurting the poor girls and making the girls finish school. No. Most of us are dropping out of school because we have to. We got to work to provide the things that we need and the things that you need in order to get you. And we don't have a roadmap. So the decision to drop out to make the money needed to live, that decision is made a lot easier once you realize, I don't really know where I'm going here, and I don't know what happens at the end of this trip. I don't know. So I'm just going to drop out and make money. And then I'll figure it out later as I'm making money. Once I'm making money, then I can work to figure out what I want to do. For a lot of us, though, that never happens. We're working and we wind up having children and families, and so we just got to keep working. So we can't worry about, I'm going to go back to school and quit my job and get a part-time job and go to school full-time. We can't worry about that after a while. Life happens, and we just got to keep working and make money. You got to have money to live. It's pay to play in this world. So that's why. And I wanted to say that because I'm getting annoyed hearing this. Women keep patting themselves on the back like, I finished college. Oh, okay. It's not, I'm a smart person good because I finished college. Well, you may be smart, but not just because you finished college doesn't mean that you're a smart person. You have to have a good memory to finish college. And having a good memory doesn't mean that you're smart. If you can pass tests, that doesn't mean you're smart. It just means you got a good memory. And you memorize the notes. It doesn't mean that you're smart. Most people that finish college, and I'm not saying that most people that go to college aren't inherently smart. I don't know. I don't want to say that, but there's a lot of people. I'll say it this way: a lot of people that finish college ain't smart at all. They can memorize the notes that the professor gave them. They can memorize the lines in the book and the passages that the professor gave to them, but they don't understand the concepts behind a lot of this stuff. They can't piece 1 and 2 together. They can't problem solve. All they do is memorize stuff, and then they pass tests because they memorized it. They have a good memory. Passing tests doesn't always mean you're smart. Most of the time it means you got a good memory. And I get annoyed with these women coming out here saying, well, we're superior to men because we pass some fucking tests and get a piece of paper at the end of 4 years. That doesn't make you smart. It means you are disciplined and you're diligent and you're good at taking tests. You have a good memory. It's good that you can pay attention. You have a good attention span. Yes, it is a good and admirable thing, but it doesn't make you better than others who didn't. A lot of other people drop out because I have to support families, either children that I made or my parents and my siblings or my grandparents. I have to support people. I'm the man and I got to make money so I can support people. There's nobody. If my family can't support themselves and we lose our home, people are going to look at me and say, why didn't you help your family? I can't say, well, I was sitting in class. Nobody's going to accept that. Now, for a woman, we'll accept that. We'll like, oh, well, she was going to college to get a career. But for a man, no one's going to look at a man and say, well, he was just sitting in class. No, they're going to be like, well, you needed to help your family. Now you guys are homeless. Why didn't you get a job? I was sitting in class. Well, you're a man. You can't just sit in class. Go get a fucking job. So that's why we drop out. It's not because we can't read. I was a better reader than most people when I was young. And I did great in college. But it just became too much. Working and trying to make enough money to live, to stay above water and go to school, it was becoming undoable. And it was becoming maddening. And I didn't know where I was going at the end, so I dropped out. I was like, I got to stop this and I got to make money. And I'll have to, as most men do, I have to figure out a way to make money for myself some other way. So that's why we drop out of school. And you guys need to spread that information because I'm getting tired of this message being pushed that black men and men of all races who just come from whose families come from a certain income bracket, that we're just not enough. There are other nuances in life and nuances to the story that explain why we're in the positions that we're in. And most of the time, it's not our doing. We're just born into this crappy, mixed up, backwards European society, a European version of civilization, and we do the best that we can to get ahead with what we got and the scenarios that we were born into.